Transportation, to me, on many different levels, represents freedom. We have developed so many different technologies to allow transportation to get better and better and better. But there's a long way to go.
At Amazon, we handle millions of packages that require a complex choreography of every type of machinery and transportation you can imagine, and some you may not have thought about before. While we have thousands of robots working with people daily, it's the people behind the technology who are constantly transforming the delivery experience for our customers and the communities we're a part of. Our transportation infrastructure supports more than the products you buy online. We leverage our systems to transport millions of units of essential items to disaster relief zones, PPE and medical supplies to first responders, meals from farms and food banks to families, devices and school supplies to students, and so many more every single day. These are the most important deliveries we make. If you could innovate to change someone's life, what would you deliver?
With folds and flourishes, bold colors and characters, our team uses tools and technology to transport us to innovative universes. Through film, we unleash the unlimited, adapting and expanding what we see in the real world, but unbound by the limitations of what is real today. Some call us futurists. At Lucasfilm, we do often feel like we're designing maps for future worlds, redefining infrastructure, reimagining transportation, and bridging cultures. If your dreams could appear before you, what would they look like?
At Boeing, we're innovating today for a better tomorrow. Boeing teams across the globe continue to transform how we design and build our products. From commercial aircraft to cargo air vehicles, our systems enable us to work more efficiently and improve the environmental performance of our products and operations. To meet the demands of our ever-changing world, Boeing drives innovation in technology that will transform transportation and mobility as we know it. We're investing and partnering across industry to develop safe and sustainable autonomous aircraft and supporting technologies that will radically shift the status quo and will surely offer newfound freedoms bound only by your imagination. What innovations would you like to see take flight?
Wireless technology, powered by our ideas, has been a hallmark of enabling people around the globe to stay connected no matter where they travel. And you should never underestimate the power of your network. Underdeveloped locations suddenly became connected, and smartphone solutions led to transformative breakthroughs, helping resolve systemic issues and empowering innovative pathways out of health crises and poverty. With 5G, AI, supercomputing, and intelligent sensing, another revolution is at our fingertips. The technology you're using today is evidence of our innovation mindset that continues to show up in unlikely places and led to our collaboration with NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratories. They said, let's dare mighty things. Let's fly a helicopter on Mars. And today, years later, that helicopter is Ingenuity. Autonomous vehicles, communication across millions of miles, and pioneering space exploration all require thinking that is out of the box and sometimes even off this planet. Are you ready to explore the unknown?
They say the view from the stratosphere changes everything you think about this little blue planet, its environment and ecology. Some might even say it's a small world after all. And when your goals are galactic and your horizons shift, then maybe there'll come a time when you trade engineering for Walt Disney Imagineering. And you'll discover that a walk in our parks can take you all the way to the stars. To us at Walt Disney Imagineering, transportation means creating new ways to immerse yourself in new worlds. How would you go? Where would you go? And where would you land?
And no matter where you drive, ride, fly, or glide, we've grown to understand that the best things about us is our collaborative community, ourselves and each other. The strength of all of us depends on the strength of each one of us. At FedEx, we're trusted to carry lots of different shapes to tons of amazing places. More than 220 countries and territories, in fact. There's nothing more important we could have been doing recently than delivering temperature-sensitive vaccines to millions of people. They say if you want to go fast, go alone. But when you want to go far, go together. We have big dreams of helping you go very, very far. And when we were transporting vital PPE to frontline workers, guess who was right there with us?
Transportation is an absolutely critical piece of all of our lives, and we've got to make it better. We've got to make it safer. We've got to make it more available to everybody, and we've got to expand the capability. We want to cross continents in minutes, not hours. I built the iBot to give back independence and freedom to the disabled community. I made segways so that people could cruise around without the burden of something as big as a car. I built helicopters because the ability to just lift yourself up and apparently defy gravity, it is so liberating to me. And I think today's kids that embrace technology will continue to raise the bar and make better forms of transportation. They'll make forms that are more environmentally friendly. They'll make ones that are more energy efficient, more cost effective, faster, and capable of dealing with whole new environments that we can only dream about now. Through teams, mentorship, internships, and scholarships.
FIRST is more than a game.
We've seen you rise before.
We've witnessed your resilience firsthand.
Let this be a year of firsts. Let this be your year.
A year in which you plant your feet and find your wings.
It's time to be transported. It's time to go full speed ahead.
We need you.
The countdown is now.
Together, we're driving first, forward.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Let's go.
Alumni means that I have an entire world of connections.
It allows me to volunteer and give back to the community.
I think FIRST can really prepare you to solve any number of the world's big problems. The skills that you're going to be learning can completely change the future.
Hey everybody, welcome to the 2021-2022 FTC Kickoff. We're going to look at Freight Frenzy. Everyone's real excited to see what the game is. I just want to do a big thank you to Lake Highland Prep here in Orlando, Florida for giving us a beautiful facility that we're coming to you live from right now. We're going to talk to Hans, we're going to talk to AJ, and of course everyone's favorite three-letter words, Bob and Sid. Well, I think we're ready to get this thing started. Let's go inside. I'm here.
Andrew, what are you doing here?
Oh,
What's going on?
I don't know. Just hanging out. You hold the microphone to your face.
Oh, you need, people need to hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's the FTC Kickoff. Hey, welcome, everybody.
Hey.
Florida, thanks for joining us.
Oh, sorry. There's an earthquake. Okay.
But the only thing it's good to see that we're picking right off where we were last season, so thanks for that.
Don't expect quality.
Good.
Yeah.
But the one thing I'm confused about, Freight Frenzy.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game? I thought it was called Duck, Duck, Goose.
No. That's a
different game. That's a kid's game.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. All right, so is everybody ready to get started? Let's put up the agenda here and let's talk through what we plan to cover today. Last thing, you might have noticed that I had my right shirt on, right? I got my Mardi Gras shirt because this is a party season.
Oh, yeah.
We're having fun this season, and it's all about fun. So here's what we're going to do today. Quick intro. Most important thing is you are going to see the game animation. We have the full First video that's being played right here, so you'll see everything that First is broadcasting, along with some very specific Florida stuff. And let's get started with some results from last season.
I think that's what's next. What's next? Oh, yeah. Hey. So we've had some, awesome stuff's gone on from last season. Starting off with, of course, there we go. we had a Dean's List winner, not just a local Dean's List winner, but actually someone who won in a international, I guess you'd say, award. We have a clip from our state celebration last year. One of the judges recorded a video, so let's check that out. This kid's awesome.
So,
as the engineering lead, this finalist oversees the robot's overall design and performance and guides the team to solve complex problems following the 5-step design process. As he continues to focus on sustainability of the team, he has shared his knowledge in CAD design, 3D printing, and basics of programming. This candidate's outreach efforts have consistently raised $3,000 to $4,500 in sponsorship for his team for the past 3 years. He co-founded STEM Vision and taught more than 500 kids subjects like EV3, Python, Java, and math. On his quest to pass on knowledge, he always does the knight thing. Congratulations, Arco Gosh from Team 12600 Hydron Knights.
Congratulations, Arco. Again, he won in a international sense. You're actually going to see him later on in the kickoff video. He's got a little bit going on. So another awesome thing that happened last year was we had a Global Innovation Challenge winner from Team 14725 Java Nuts. So that was a single winner right there. As where Dean's List has a few winners, so they won overall. You should really go check out the project that they had. It's a cane for blind people to be able to. It has sensor feedback and all. It's really cool. So they won overall, and that's really amazing from right here in Florida.
So 2 great examples of Florida's success outside of Florida. Really, it's fantastic. We've got global representation in the award ceremony from Florida. So congratulations to both of those, Arco and Team 14725.
And of course, you can't forget Boombots, who is now like the longest standing world champion because they won it was like 7 years ago now, it feels like. But, just because it's fun, so we have a world champion still standing from 2 years ago. Just a little, we're cool in Florida.
Little piece of trivia.
So everyone loves AJ. I love AJ. Do you like AJ?
I love
AJ.
It's Professor AJ.
Professor AJ. So we've got a little tech update from Professor AJ for you right now.
Hi everyone, AJ here with a tech update. Welcome to the new season. Biggest thing this year is the introduction of the Rev Driver Hub. This takes the place of the driver station phone that's usually connected to your gamepads, and I think you're going to like it. It's quite a unit. You plug the gamepads directly into the hub itself, so no more weird adapters that are going to go out on you in the middle of a match. If you have this and the Rev Control Hub, you're now phone-free for all of your control of your robot, which is pretty nice. So check it out. It's available in all new FTC kits, and you can order it straight from Rev.
All right, so that great update, the new control system from AJ. You can see there's some pieces of it back here along with that right there is the Samantha module for all of you old timers now. But anyways, really cool piece of technology. Make sure you read up on how to use that because that's going to make your robots probably perform a lot better. Another video we've got to talk about is SLIC. If you don't know, it's the Student Leadership IC Innovation Council. It's a program that has come out of the Northeast area in Florida, and we've got a little video about that so you can understand how you can get involved with that.
Hello everyone, my name is Nick Sanders and I'm on Team 10497, the Swamp Bots. I'm a co-founder and current counselor on the SLIC Northeast Florida chapter.
Hello, my name is Gigi and I'm on Team 12827, the Crazy Cat Ladies, and I am a counselor for SLIC. Hi, my name is Lana from the Crazy Cat Ladies, and I am a counselor for SLIC.
We're here to introduce you to a student-driven league quality initiative called the Student Leadership Innovation Council, or SLIC for short. SLIC has been implemented into the Northeast Florida League for the past 3 years ongoing and has provided many benefits to the teams, volunteers, and program delivery partner in our league.
The goal of SLIC is to provide a framework and platform for the students and teams inside of the league to create and develop league improvement services. SLIC is all about students helping students, taking the initiative to improve your league and making FTC better for everyone. SLIC was started in 2018 by Swamp Bots in partnership with members from the Crazy Cat Ladies, Stormtroopers, and Saturn, with the purpose of creating a support group and team-to-team mentorship for our young and fast-growing league. After 3 years of constant development and iteration, SLIC is now a packaged program ready for implementation in your league.
Some of the packaged services include virtual team-to-team mentorship throughout the season, wherein teams can request online mentorship during their meetings from a veteran team, a league Discord server that includes current season design concepts, previous award-winning notebooks from top teams, an FTC forum and FTC Reddit auto-posting bot, and help channels for all aspects of FTC. Student-led training seminars on league kickoff phase, or build days, help provide necessary skills and make connections with new teams. Judging reviews offered to all advancing teams prior to the state championship from your league championship judges. Bi-weekly video seminars wherein teams demonstrate mechanisms, concepts, or strategies for the current game.
Your team members should be interested in being a counselor in SLIC because it opens up many outreach opportunities that have been a large part of both our team's Inspire Award placements at the league and state level. Since SLIC started, 3 counselors have been Dean's List finalists, one of which was even a winner of the 2019 Dean's List at Houston. SLIC additionally benefits league management by providing services for the league volunteers and coordinators, including content at league events, support for the adult volunteers during robot and field inspection, and a social network that mobilizes student volunteers throughout the season.
So, how do you make SLIC work in your league? SLIC in its most basic form is a framework for teams to improve and expand upon their own individual outreach programs through coordination with other teams. SLIC is set up in such a way that it's very easy to add programs directed towards your specific league's needs. So you might be thinking, this is going to be a lot of work, but remember, this program was started for students, by students, and it would not have survived if it didn't fit into a team's normal outreach time commitment.
The requirements to start your own SLIC chapter are at least 3 student counselors willing to commit 1 to 2 hours a week to lead and direct the program, a commitment of 1 to 2 hours towards bi-weekly planning calls to present new initiatives or work on current ones, at least 1 student to moderate and develop the league Discord server, willing and supportive league program delivery partner to approve league service initiatives and provide contact info or email lists for all registered teams, and willing and supportive coaches to encourage teams to be active in the student-led, student-run SLIC programs.
So, the bottom line is, for no more effort than you put into any middle-sized outreach program, you can bring SLIC to your league. The difference is, SLIC brings many immediate and lasting benefits, both you as an individual, your team, your league, and especially new and developing teams. So if you are interested in this, please reach out to us through any of these communication mediums and we will help you establish your very own chapter in your league.
So another great example of the power of our teams here in Florida. They created that on their own initiative. It's really awesome. Please, if you didn't see the contact information there, you can reach out to me if you want to get in touch with these students to try to set something up with other groups of students across the state.
And as a league leader myself, I know that to make it sustainable, it's really great to have the teams get involved with helping to run your league.
Absolutely.
We're all of us adults, we're all volunteers, and it's hard to work a day job and run a league at the same time. So
Right.
if students can help get involved, it's great. In addition to all the things that looks great for your judging and all that, but
Right.
really it does help your league, and it'd be really nice.
Yep, great program. So let's, I know you guys want to get to the most important thing, which is the first video in the game animation, but one last topic before we get to that. A quick update on what our plan is for the state. So right now, the current plan is to get back to a normal state schedule. Last year, as you recall, we had a very long season. Everything was remote. We didn't finish the season until June. This year, our plan is to kind of wrap up in March. Early March is our state championship date that we're targeting. And really, February 6th is the last final date that leagues have for their league championship. So that's kind of the overall schedule. And again, these slides will be posted on the Florida FTC website, so I'm not going to read everything that's on the slides. So if you want to go to the next step here, that's kind of the schedule. Again, the plan for leagues is pretty much the same. We're planning the same 8 leagues this year. The only exception is the Gulf Coast League. We are considering splitting them up because it's kind of a large geography, so that league may split depending on how many teams we get registered. And then you'll see up there at the top, so that's the 8+1. And the other +1 is the other thing we're considering. So please reach out to your league leaders if you think your school is not going to be able to compete physically at all this season. Because one of the other options we're considering, if there's enough teams that's the case, we'll create a separate standalone remote-only league. And I'll explain why that's important here in a second. So as you recall, last year we introduced a remote event. And really the main difference between the remote and traditional events is you ran on a half a field, the matches yourself, you scored it yourself. And the physical events, you're running with 4 robots on the field at some venue. With the current situation with COVID, some of the leagues are planning to have physical events. Right now, we've got 2 or 3 leagues to start the season with physical events. We have some leagues that will probably start with a remote event with the goal of having at least a traditional league championship, which is the final event before you go to the state championship. And as I mentioned before, we're thinking about creating a statewide remote event. So that's kind of gives you a quick overview of what our plan is. And the last thing I'll say, and I'll close with this later, again, is I introduced this last season. Flexibility, adaptability is the theme again this season. We're going to have to kind of play it by ear, see how things go. And I appreciate all the flexibility that all the teams demonstrated last year and all the volunteers. So I think we're ready to start the main thing I think everybody's here waiting for.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome First Tech Challenge teams. I'm First Tech Challenge Program Director Ken Johnson, and I'm excited to be here for the First Tech Challenge 2021-2022 season kickoff and the big reveal of Freight Frenzy presented by Raytheon Technologies. We're thrilled to have Raytheon Technologies as our Freight Frenzy presenting sponsor, which is just one part of the First Forward season presented by Qualcomm. We have a full show today, packed with kickoff messages from some familiar first faces, a gracious professionalism message from our Dean's List award winners, the Freight Frenzy season reveal, and finally, a detailed field walkthrough to help teams get started. All the game materials are available on our website, so please use the website as your reference during the season. To get us started, here's First founder, Dean Kamen.
Hello, First Tech Challenge teams, and welcome to First Forward, this year's season presented by Qualcomm. This season's First Tech Challenge game is Freight Frenzy, presented by Raytheon Technologies. Every year we make the game more challenging, and every year you amaze us with your solutions. As I've always said, FIRST creates the hardest fun you'll ever have, and I hope that you use this experience to start you on a pathway to solving some of the world's biggest problems as I hope you pursue careers in technology. Good luck to everybody. I look to see you at events throughout the season.
Thanks, Dean. And now I'd like to share some of the things you can expect in the upcoming Freight Frenzy season. Another incredible First Tech Challenge season is here, and I want to share a few things about this season we think you're really going to like. The biggest change this year will be the return of in-person play. We know not all regions will be back 100% to traditional events, but we hope most of you will be able to get together for live competition. I can tell you we miss them, and I know our students, coaches, volunteers, and sponsors can't wait to get back out there, to compete, see what others have accomplished, and renew friendships, or at least friendly rivalries. There are still many unknowns, and we realize some regions and countries may choose the remote event format we introduced last year due to social distancing rules in their area. The good news is that the FTC scoring system for Freight Frenzy will support remote events for both individual robot match play and remote judging, just like last season. And, like last year, regions can switch from one format to the other mid-season if necessary. Your program delivery partner will make that call based on local rules and conditions. This season, teams will again be able to request judge feedback from their interviews and the materials they submit for judging. We added this feature as an opt-in option last year. You already know judges can only pick one winner, and the award competition across FTC is tough. We added this option as a valuable tool for teams to understand how they can improve. I encourage teams to ask for this feedback at your events this year. What else is new? Well, we just introduced the Driver Hub into the standard FTC kit of parts. The Driver Hub can be used to replace the driver's side smartphone and USB hub and connector with a single device. The Driver Hub operates on the Android operating system, which has been slimmed down, has a great user interface, and was built for our FTC competition environment. You can still use your smartphone and USB hub in FTC this season and going forward. We created a Tech Talk video on this subject with more detail. Check it out. I can't wait to see you play Freight Frenzy this year, in person and with all the wonderful excitement our games and events generate. I'll see you soon. A huge thank you to all our sponsors this year, making our first forward season and Freight Frenzy game possible. Since 2006, Qualcomm has supported FIRST programs, events, and teams worldwide and has also been a major technology partner with First Tech Challenge. Through their collaboration and support of FIRST, Qualcomm is helping build the pipeline of STEM leaders who will drive the invention age.
Hello First Tech Challenge teams, and welcome to the first Forward season presented by Qualcomm. My name is Susie Armstrong, and I am a Senior Vice President of Engineering at Qualcomm. We are so happy to be a part of this exciting season as we explore the future of transportation and how it impacts individuals and economies across the globe. The future of transportation is so vast, from getting packages delivered to your front door to bringing humans to space. So much technology from the business community powers the future, and we at Qualcomm are so excited to play a role in it. Our foundational wireless technologies transforms how the world connects, computes, and communicates, and has the power to enhance how goods and people travel, providing increased visibility and control over transportation systems. From the wireless technology that keeps us all interconnected, to powering solutions to explore life beyond Earth, Qualcomm has always been at the forefront of transportation innovation. And now it's your turn to drive. In First Forward, FIRST teams will explore how to innovate for future transportation ecosystems, making the delivery of essential items faster and more sustainable than ever before. You are forging a new path, accelerating the breakthroughs of tomorrow, and you are driving first forward, full speed ahead. Good luck to all this season.
Thank you, Susie, and thank you, Qualcomm. In First Tech Challenge, you're developing real-world skills such as digital literacy, teamwork, leadership, creative problem solving, and project management, skills that are used every day at Raytheon Technologies.
Hello, First Tech Challenge teams. We're excited to welcome you to Freight Frenzy presented by Raytheon Technologies. I'm Mark Iwamoto, a First Tech Challenge alum and a radar systems engineer here at Raytheon Technologies. Just like First Tech Challenge, at Raytheon Technologies, we're accelerating ideas to solve some of the world's biggest challenges through collaboration and professionalism. When I was in First, my team's robot included materials like plywood, PVC pipes, surgical tubing, and a lot of glue and duct tape. We found unique solutions to be competition ready and the opportunity to tackle engineering problems in a large team setting. Now, I work on the ASARS-2B program, an advanced all-weather surveillance radar that flies on the Lockheed Martin U-2 aircraft. I always knew I was interested in engineering, but it was the hands-on engineering and mentorship from Raytheon and other industry engineers that solidified my desire and gave me the skills, confidence, and opportunity to pursue it. Now it's your chance to build the skills and confidence to forge your own path and find unique solutions to Freight Frenzy and the real-world challenges beyond. Aaron, what about you?
Mark is absolutely right. First Tech Challenge taught me the power of creative problem solving, collaboration, learning through failure, and perseverance. Hi teams, my name's Erin Kerrigan Mitchell, First Tech Challenge alum, shout out to Team 4140 Fish in the Boat, mentor for all 3 FIRST programs, event volunteer, and a manufacturing engineer at Collins Aerospace. FIRST is the reason that I am an engineer. It's also why I work at Collins Aerospace. And at Collins, my various engineering roles have not only allowed me to be innovative, but contribute to the innovation and improvements of humanitarian transportation. And now I work on producibility and ease of assembly, so that when parts need to be installed or replaced on a plane, it can be done quickly, safely, and in a variety of environments. The product I currently work on helps with overheat detection along the wing of the aircraft, so there's constant feedback to the pilot on the endurance levels of the plane, especially critical in dangerous weather or when transporting important material. Innovation and inventions of every size can make an impact, and the future of transporting critical items quickly, safely, and efficiently relies on your creative solutions. Good luck this season, teams.
Thanks, Aaron, and hello, First Tech Challenge teams. I'm Daniel Fishman, proud FIRST alum, FIRST robotics competition mentor, event volunteer, and project engineer at Pratt & Whitney. Through my experience in FIRST, I started to develop the skills necessary to communicate and cooperate with diverse groups. I also learned how to grow from my failures as well as my successes. On top of these soft skills, I obtained the engineering skills necessary to build a robot. Every day, I continue to develop and build these skills with my new team at Pratt & Whitney. Like Mark and Aaron, my experience with FIRST helped launch my career in engineering. Thanks to the valuable mentorship from Pratt & Whitney engineers on my FIRST team, I obtained multiple internships. Now, I get to develop innovative solutions for a class of Pratt & Whitney engines that support global humanitarian efforts. How will you use the skills you're developing today to build your projects of tomorrow? Good luck this season, and thanks for participating in Freight Frenzy, presented by Raytheon Technologies.
Thank you. Without the support of sponsors, volunteers, program delivery partners, and all of you at home, First Tech Challenge wouldn't be possible. In addition to celebrating our sponsors, we also want to celebrate our FIRST alumni and give a shout out to our alumni and scholarship program at FIRST. While we know the world isn't back to normal yet, we are excited to have more in-person events this season. No matter what our season looks like, at the heart of each and every first event is gracious professionalism. Here's our 2020-2021 Dean's List winners to remind us all about the importance of gracious professionalism this season.
Gracious professionalism to me is being able to create and partake in a community where everyone's ideas and opinions are valued.
It means being trustworthy, respectful, and always ready to work with others to help them grow.
Working hard to reach your goals in the competition, while also helping other teams reach their own goals.
Being nice and respectful to your competitors and treating them as friends, while learning and growing with them as a community.
It means creating an inclusive community by helping others and even sharing information with other teams.
One way we can be gracious professionals is to share our work with the FIRST community online, so others can learn from us and we can learn from others.
As members of FIRST, we learn and compete, but treat one another with respect and kindness in the process.
Building the best possible future for everyone. Even though we are all competing against each other, if we raise our competitors up, we all win.
FIRST depends on our community embracing gracious professionalism, making it a priority in the competition season and part of your everyday life. This season, your goal is to be a collaborative teammate, a respected competitor, and a better person, which are all central themes of being a gracious professional. Speaking of gracious professionals, volunteers are critical to the success of our program, and this game was created by a very dedicated group of volunteers. So I'd like to take a moment to thank all of our volunteers, and especially our game design team, for creating such a fantastic game this season. I think they really outdid themselves. After the reveal, make sure to stick around for the field walkthrough. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, the big reveal of the 2021-2022 First Tech Challenge game, Freight Frenzy, presented by Raytheon Technologies.
Welcome to the First Tech Challenge 2021-2022 season game, Freight Frenzy, presented by Raytheon Technologies. A team consists of up to 2 driver-operators, a coach, and a robot. The robot must be built from materials specified in the game manual and fit within an 18-inch sizing tool, but may expand after the match begins. Each match is played with 4 randomly selected teams, 2 per alliance. Your opponent for one match may be your partner for another. The game is played on a 12-foot square playing field with a foam tile floor and 1-foot-high walls. In the back of the field are taped-off warehouses, which are alliance neutral. Obstructing the warehouses are barriers that robots must drive over or around. At the front of the field are Alliance-specific storage units. Alliance-specific carousels are mounted on the front corners of the field walls. Alliance-specific barcode tape is located between the warehouses and the storage units. 4 unique navigation images are located around the field perimeter. 2 Alliance-specific shipping hubs and a 3rd shared shipping hub are positioned as shown. Outside of the field walls are the red and blue Alliance stations. There are 2 types of freight: 20 pieces of cargo, 2.7 inches in diameter, and 2-inch square boxes in various weights: 30 lightweight, 20 medium, and 10 heavy boxes. 4 of the lightweight boxes are marked with an X. In addition, rubber ducks will play a key role in the game, and teams will be constructing their own custom-designed shipping elements. Before each match, the freight is stored in the warehouses, and a preload box is placed onto the field for each robot. A duck is placed onto each carousel and in the middle position of each barcode. The remaining ducks are stored in the Alliance loading docks. Teams then place their robots on the field, touching the wall adjacent to their Alliance station, but not in a warehouse. The teams then place one preload box for each robot. A team may then decide to use their own shipping element in place of a duck on the barcode, or store their shipping element in the loading dock. The duck or shipping element on the barcode is then randomized to one of 3 locations. The players and field are now ready. Each match begins with a 30-second autonomous period. During this period, there are a number of ways for teams to score, using only pre-programmed instructions and sensor inputs. Delivering the duck from the carousel earns 10 points. Each piece of freight delivered to the Alliance's storage unit will earn 2 points. Each preloaded box placed on an Alliance's shipping hub earns 6 points. But there are ways to earn bonus points. If the box is placed on the correct level as indicated by the duck's location on the barcode, the Alliance earns a 10-point bonus. If a robot places its preload box on the level shown by its Alliance's shipping element position on the barcode, it will earn a 20-point bonus. A robot parked on its Alliance's storage unit earns 3 points. However, if the robot is parked completely in the storage unit, it will earn 6 points. A robot parked in the warehouse closest to its Alliance station earns 5 points. If the robot is completely inside the warehouse, it will earn 10 points. Following the autonomous period is the 2-minute driver-controlled period. During this time, Alliances scored points by delivering freight to storage units and shipping hubs. For example, each piece of freight delivered to an Alliance's storage unit will earn 1 point. Freight scored on an Alliance's shipping hub will earn 2 points on a level 1, 4 points on a level 2, and 6 points on level 3. Each freight scored on the Alliance's side of the shared shipping hub will score 4 points for their Alliance. The last 30 seconds of the driver control period is the end game. Robots may continue scoring freight, and there are also ways to earn bonus points. Delivering a duck or shipping element to the floor earns the Alliance 6 points. A balanced shipping hub at the end of the match earns 10 points. If an Alliance's section of the shared shipping hub is in contact with the tile floor, that Alliance earns 20 points. Robots parked in a warehouse earn 3 points. However, if the robot is parked completely in the warehouse, it earns 6 points. Each team's shipping element, fully supported by a shipping hub center pole or another team's capped shipping element, will earn 15 points. There are many ways to score in Freight Frenzy, but there are also rules that, if not followed, will deduct points from your Alliance. For example, robots cannot interfere or interact with the opposing Alliance shipping hub. Scoring elements may not be launched. Robots may not interfere with their opposing Alliance's capping attempts. Only one duck or team shipping element is allowed on the carousel at a time. A robot may not cause an opposing Alliance robot to become pinned, trapped, or blocked. This is just a brief summary of the Freight Frenzy game. For complete rules, please read the game manual and check the Q&A forum. And always remember the most important rule of First Tech Challenge: gracious professionalism. Good luck, teams, and have a great season.
All right, well, there you go. Freight Frenzy here on the field. Pretty awesome, isn't it? So, of course, you guys have lots of questions, or I assume they're ready. Make sure you put those in our YouTube chat. We're going to flag those, and we'll go through a Q&A with our best buddies, Bob and Sid. But to start, is the microphone not working? Okay. To continue on, let's go to the Bob and Sid show with a little bit of Q&A that they've already pre-answered for you.
Hello, hi, this is Referee Bob.
Hi, this is Sid. What an exciting, great new game we get to play this season. The intent of this segment is to give teams a flavor of the game rules. We hope that it will serve the teams with their initial design and strategy process. As always, please read the game manuals for all rules this season.
Warehouses, there's one here and one there. They're alliance neutral, so teams can go into either one and do that. And basically, you're going to get freight out of here to take out and be able to score into the other parts of the field. Now, in order for the freight to be legally scored, the robot must start completely outside of the warehouse, must come completely inside the warehouse, pick up one and one only piece of freight, and then move the piece of freight and the robot completely out of the warehouse. Then it can be legally scored anywhere upon the playing field.
The freight, which includes the duck and the preloaded boxes in the field after from randomization or delivery from the carousel, is considered to be legally removed from the warehouse and can be scored. Possession limit is one piece of freight and one team shipping element only at a time. During autonomous, it's restricted to the warehouse closest to your alliance station. If you're a red alliance, this would be where you'll be navigating. If you're in a blue alliance, you'll be on the other side. The shared shipping hub is not a neutral, but as it says, it's a shared hub where both alliances have equal rights. Freight legally moved out of the warehouse can be scored in the shared shipping hub.
Blocks in here that have different weights, so you have to take that in consideration to do that. The only thing is that your robot cannot be in contact with it at the end of the game, or you will cause it to be unbalanced in favor of your opposing alliance. The randomization this year will be between the barcode areas where it is. First, that'll be a duck will be the default, we'll move it there. Or if a team wants to, they can elect to put a team shipping element into that place. With the randomization, we're going to have this preloaded freight that you'll be able to either possess or put next to your robot. And then depending on where the duck or your team shipping element is, you either put it on level 1, 2, or 3 to get some bonus points during the autonomous mode. On this barcode area here, and depending whether it comes up 1, 2, or 3, you'll move the rubber duck around. You will have the option to put your team shipping element down if you'd like. Just make sure you keep that orientation where you'd like, so the field personnel will do that. And basically, if you are successful with putting the freight into the correct level, if you have your team shipping element down, you'll get double the bonus points.
Throughout the driver control period, including the end game, the objective is to score in the alliance-specific shipping element, shipping hub, and the shared shipping hub behind me. And the objective at the end of the match would be to have this balanced and not imbalanced. In the end game, the objective is to cap the team shipping element on top of the level 3 shipping hub. Freight, including boxes and cargo, can go into the storage area, but it has to be completely inside the storage area for it to be scored. Not scored, not scored, scored.
One of the last areas we talked about is the carousel. Basically, you'll either place a duck onto this carousel, or you can put a team shipping element onto the carousel. Basically, to start autonomous, it'll be here. It'll be a duck only. And the only place that the robot can touch it is along the edge here. And basically, they have to carefully spin it around the edge to get it here, to get it to sweep off the plate, and then it must hit the floor first. Teams, word of advice, you need to pay attention to your speed. If you go too fast and it falls off like that, either falls outside of the field or falls in the field without hitting the sweeper bar, it will not be count. As you can see, there is an open area where you don't have to drive across the barrier to get into the warehouse, but as you'll notice, it's less than 18 inches wide. that may be a key consideration in your design to do that, whether you can drive over the barrier or if you can move through here without having to drive across. And again, that's important because, as you know, your robot has to be completely inside the warehouse in order to pick up a piece of freight or cargo to be able to legally score it. That was a quick overview of some of the key elements of this year's game. It seems to be a very exciting and fun game. We're looking forward to having in-person matches again this year with you guys.
Fun.
No, you have to do the whole.
Oh, the whole thing. I thought you said, well, have fun. I said fun. I thought he was going to edit that.
Oh, that was the best possible.
And as always, be safe and have fun.
All right, well, there's a quick little Q&A with Bob and
Sid.
So I'm going to hop over and get on the camera so we can move around and look at stuff. But we're going to do a quick field tour, right? So I think the first thing that we want to show everybody is how wobbly these goals are.
Yeah. Hey, grab some of the freight in the back. But yeah, that is one of the key considerations is that depending on what kind of freight you put in here, the blocks, they've got the different weights and different levels. You can get it to tip over easier than you can as opposed to doing it down there, kind of things like that. So it is very, very wobbly and do that. So that when you're
let's show with the different weights, right?
Sure. So we've got, so basically what it is we've got some that have no weights in them, some that have one weight on each side, and then we've got another one that has two weights on each side to do that. So there's 3 different sizes, plus you have the wiffle balls and potentially the rub your ducks, which some of you have probably noticed are part of the game elements. And depending upon which one you do, it can help you do that. Right now, Sid's got one with just 2 in it. And
Can you put it in the front side so we can see it on camera?
Yeah. So that won't tip it over. This may not tip it over. Yeah, so it doesn't take much to do it, change it from one to the other and do that.
Why don't you show how many?
Remember that it won't reset. Even if it took one off, the heavy one off, you'd expect it to reset. It won't. It's definitely hard to reset.
Yeah.
So why don't you show, throw one of the two the heavy ones and show how many lightweight ones it takes to tip it back over.
Sure.
All right, so we got a heavy one. I've got one lightweight.
Just do the one. Yeah, let's just see the comparison. We can try it at the different levels too.
So that goes it back. I don't think that's 3.
Just to give you guys an idea of the equivalence.
So I've got 5 over here, and it's still not kind of tipped over there.
Let's try maybe on the
try the
other
center,
levels.
level 2, the same example.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it takes quite a bit. You know, the weighted ones have a bigger influence there. So.
What was that one you just put on the back there, Sid?
It's a 4 weight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Things to be considered. And it's the same thing, you know, the Alliance Shipping Company, it's got 1 tier. Same thing, you're going to have the different weights to do that.
Let's show that on the Alliance.
All right. Take all our toys with us. Tell people, what do you do? I play with blocks. So Sid put a double weight on there to the other side. Now I've got ones with no weight. Did it back. No weight. Still the third. So yeah, it's taken up to 3. Probably going to take 4 or more with no weights in it to get it to come over, even with 4. So, you know, things to consider, because in endgame, if you can get this unbalanced to your side, you'll get the bonus points. So things to consider when you're doing that, playing the game, what you're going to put in here, what you're not. One thing you want to notice is there's not a lot of room back here to move around, and your robot has to bring freight completely out of the warehouse to score it in here. So something to consider when you're making gameplay.
It's kind of off because I have 2 4 weights and 2 double weights. And it took that amount of cargo or boxes to offset no weight light boxes.
Yeah. So.
Someone was asking if they kind of look like wobble balls. You want to?
Oh, yeah. Here, that is an excellent observation. I give somebody bonus points. But essentially, if you look at the bottom here.
Come closer. It's just.
Okay.
You're easier than the cable management here.
Yeah, so if you look at the bottom, this is basically the wobble goal that's shortened slightly. It doesn't have the kind of vertical little bit of lip that we had that the red or blue discs were pressed into last year, and the handles. So yeah, so it is exactly the same setup with the tool. I believe Andy Mark just modified the tool to make these. That's what I understand. So yeah, but they had the tray. So
and you also notice that they're not bolted down, so they're actually really easy to push around, which is actually a penalty, right?
yeah, so definitely the Alliance, the shared shipping hub that Sid has in his hand is definitely off there, and you cannot move your own, nor can your Alliance partner move it either. So you're going to have to kind of be careful a little bit. If you're bumping it a little bit and doing some things like that are okay. And also the other key is you cannot rotate it, because one of the things you could maybe think about as a strategy to rotate that's not legal. That's a penalty. Pretty sure it's a major penalty.
Sorry, you want to bring the robot over?
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Where
I would say push it down and just show how easy it is to push.
Okay, this is analog robot that would be powered by motors, not a referee. I'm not pushing very hard. You can see I've actually got one finger pushing, so it's really simple to slide these across there. So you're going to have to keep that in consideration of your autonomous strategy if you're trying to score in here to get the bonus points, or just score your preloaded block if you're going to do that. And also particularly if you're going to try to match the randomization element there to double your score to do that.
And while you've got the robot out, why don't we show how tight it is back there in the...
Okay, this robot, it's 18 inches this direction. And let me see, put it behind. So you can see, you know, this is about 13 3/4, roughly is the measurement there.
3/4.
Do that. So, you know, choice would be, like we said in the video, maybe you make a small robot to drive through, or you need to drive over this barrier, which is about 1 inch high, except for these little peaks here, which are about 2 inches high.
And we don't have them in, but there's actually a little plate you have to put underneath the tile, and then it zip ties to hold it in place. We don't have them just because we didn't want to cut up the tiles and deal with all of that. Now, why don't you take it over there to the...
Yeah. Also, as I talked about, there not being a lot of room, this bot barely fits behind, and it's not 18 inches in this direction. So, you know, that's there.
And remember that you have to go completely inside before you can pick up a piece of freight inside the warehouse.
Completely outside the warehouse.
And then come completely outside of the warehouse before you can score.
Yeah.
So I have a question, and I don't know if you know the answer. If you come completely out, or you go inside completely, pick it up, come completely out. If you break the plane after you've come completely out, is that going to be okay, or do you know?
As long as you come completely out and the freight comes completely out, it can legally be scored. It could be picked up by your alliance partner, it could be picked up by another robot. So once that piece of freight comes out, then it can be legally scored to do that. And
so it's not like if you come out and then like half your robot ends up back in the warehouse, you're not going to get penalized for that.
No, that's true. Once the key is just to come completely in, grab one, and again, someone asked about how many pieces of freight. You can hold one and only one throughout the game in any area, and then you got to come completely out of the warehouse to be able to score that element legally.
Let's transfer over to the carousels and show.
Oh, yes.
So we had that little gaff in the...
Maybe we should get the robot itself.
In the Q&A video. So it turns out that we didn't assemble that carousel correctly. It seems to work pretty much all the time.
Well, that's what you get for letting a referee help you assemble the field. You know, that's not our main thing. But so again, as I said, the big key here is this rim is really the only place that a robot could touch it. And if we had a proper mechanism on here, this robot would have to come into here and, you know, with an arm or some sort of wheel or something to potentially do it, to drive it, and then do it. Now, Sid was touching on the top, which is against the rules. That's a penalty. And then it has to come, and then the duck has to hit the sweeper bar on the other side before it goes down to the field. So someone had asked about how fast can you turn it. The limit is that if you do it too fast and it plops off, you don't score any points for it. It doesn't count as delivered to the field.
While you rotate, you can show this one too at the end.
And then also we have the homemade
team shipping element.
Not
used for barcode in autonomous.
Yeah, so if it were happen to end up and start out here in the loading dock, and then during end game, one of the drive team could put it on there, set it, you could turn in by touching the edge and let that come off and be delivered to the field.
Get stuck.
And then you could pick it up and do the capping of your Alliance shipping hub at the end if you felt like you wanted to do that.
So there's no human player, right? It's going to be a driver.
Yeah, so this year there is no human player, so it's basically one of the 3 people on the drive team. Again, doesn't matter which one on the drive team. It could be one of the people who has the driver badge on. It could be the coach. You're just going to have to kind of figure out how that's going to work best for you. And the thing is, once the ducks put on during autonomous and setup or before autonomous and setup, you cannot interact with these until endgame. So there's nothing for the teams to do until the last 30 seconds. So you're not like you're going to have one of your drive teams going to be constantly up and down to do that. It's just going to be one person's going to need the last 30 seconds during endgame if you're going to elect to put additional ducks or your team shipping elements on there. And you can put both teams on your alliance shipping elements can come in that way if they have not been put on during
one at a time.
One at a time. Yeah, everything comes in one at a time. That's the big theme for this year. You hold one piece of freight, put one duck or one thing on the carousel at a time. You'll hear that a lot.
I don't know if one thing I want to add is once the robot starts to interact with the carousel, not the human player, but the team member from the alliance is not allowed to touch the carousel.
Yeah. So key. The shipping hubs wobble. And there's weight that are good for that. You can get points for having them either balanced. Balance is the key for these at the end game for your alliance specific. Unbalanced towards your alliance at the end of end game. It's kind of what you're looking to do. The different levels. There's different weights. You've got balls. You got the balls, which are called cargo.
Yep.
The blocks, which are called freights, and of course, this cute little rubber ducks. Goose. So I don't know if there's some other questions.
Do we have any questions? All right, well, let's start going through those questions then.
Okay, so before we start the questions, Sid and I have read these game rules several times over the last week and a half. I don't know what. It seems like it's probably been a month, but it's only been a week and a half. So this is our best estimation of what the answer should be. Please note the official forums will be out there. If you have a question here that you ask, I would recommend you get to post it to the forum once you get your information how to do that with the thing. I understand there's a new software this year that'll make it a little easier to look at the posts and do some stuff. More to come from that from first. All right. Questions, please.
So, can someone put a duck on the carousel while it's moving and there is no other duck on it?
No.
No. Once the carousel starts moving, the human player cannot, or the drive team folks cannot interact with it. Once it stops, you can to do that. So if you notice that your robot knocks one duck off and it keeps it going, you're going to have to wait till your robot stops the carousel before loading another duck onto the carousel.
What a great question.
Yeah,
I want to clarify that as a forum post as well.
So this kind of follows up with that. Weights, so the ducks have to land in the field and go on the platter thing, the carousel, which with levels for points. So I think they're just looking for some more clarity on how they enter the field.
So ducks have to hit the field first, right, Sid?
That's right. When the ducks are delivered to the field, they get delivery points. And then you pick up the ducks, the robots pick up the ducks in the end game and put it in the levels, and they get corresponding scores. I can't remember what the scores are.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, so the different levels are there to do that. And also, one other thing, you can still put ducks, because they are considered freight, into your team storage area, which is these red and blue squares at the beginning, and it needs to be completely in. So, yeah, so you could, you can also score them there if you just want to push, have them hit the floor and push them over. You will score some points for that as well. And again, like I said, it's got to be completely in, basically, has to be completely in the outside here. So this is good, that's not, in a nutshell. But it can also be placed up here if you would like. There's no differentiation between any of the game elements when they're scored on either the Alliance Shipping Hub or the Shared Shipping Hub. It doesn't give you any more or less points. It's just the weight of what the object is and what it can do in terms of keeping you balanced or unbalanced.
The only difference is the game that we can cap on the end, the custom freight thing.
Yeah, the team shipping element. Yeah, the only time that comes into play is I don't know if you caught that in the video, but the setup will be default to be there. If you want to start the game before it's going during setup when you put your bot on the field, you can swap out and put your team shipping element where that's at. And we'll put the duck, and the duck will go over in the loading zone.
Or your shipping element can be in the loading zone.
Or if you don't put your shipping element here, it'll go in the loading zone. And then once it gets randomized, let's say it goes to this position, field personnel try to put it as close as possible. And please, if your orientation is critical to how you're going to do it, leave it in an orientation, and the team field reset are going to just do a translation from spot to spot.
And we've got a question or two about the shipping element itself while we're there. So
Okay.
one of them is there a size limit on the team shipping element?
It's a game manual one, just as previous seasons. The shipping element dimensions are in the game manual one.
It's similar to, was it 2 or 3 years ago when we had another team element like that? I think it's like 4 by
3 by 4, I believe.
or 4 by 4 by 8 or something. But anyway, it's in the game manual, and it does have size. It has construction. One thing to note, you cannot use any of the current year's game elements for your team shipping element. That is a key thing. So don't think you can tape some blocks together and from prior years and do that. So that is specifically in the rules for that.
And this was kind of a little follow-up. You touched on this a bit. Are there other restrictions that you want to point about?
Legally made materials, so pretty much anything you can make your bot out of for the most part can be used, and no game elements are probably the other things other than the size. Oh, and you got to be able to see your numbers from at least, 12 inches away. I don't know if that's 12 inches, but you got to be able to see visible from that. So whatever size you want to do, but it will have to have your team number on it.
So the score. So it's like if you make it 3D printed all one color, you won't be able to read it. So you have to have a little bit of contrast so the scorekeepers can know who actually scored it.
Remember, this may not be legal. This is only for illustration.
Yeah.
So here's some more. We'll just stick with shipping elements while we're there. Can you place the team shipping element on the correct level in autonomous and then retrieve it to cap the hub and endgame?
Yeah, well, you're not going to actually put the team shipping element on here. What you're going to do is you're going to do these preload blocks, which I think you can see have an X on them. And basically, you're going to do one of two things. I'm going to set this robot up quick to show you. It's got to touch the wall here, and it has to be between...
I guess we didn't put the pin
Has to be outside the warehouse, and it can't
damage.
be in the storage area and can't touch the carousel. So you can either possess it like that, or it needs to be touching it if you do not want to have it on your bot. But essentially what you're going to do is take this block, and this block only, to match the randomization for autonomous. So if it's in that middle position, you're going to want to put it on that level to score the points. You'll still get points for scoring it, but you'll get bonus points if you put it on the level, and you get double bonus points if you put your team shipping element down there. And then afterwards during the game, you can pick your shipping element up, and then during end game, you can successfully cap it on there and get some more bonus points.
Right. That's only useful at the end game. However, there's one little nuance. If you use the duck as your barcode, you're still able to score that either in the storage or the shipping hubs.
Yep.
That's the only distinction.
So you kind of talked about this, but just to clarify, can the robot carry the team shipping element from the very beginning of the game?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, it can. So you can, the one possession thing is you can have one freight, which is the boxes, ducks, and cargo.
If you can zoom into that, that's legal.
Yeah, you can hold the shipping element from the beginning and do that. So you can have that in addition to a freight. So it does not count for your possession limits, but you can only carry one team shipping element. Cannot carry two.
And this would be illegal.
Yep.
And now kind of going to the end of the game.
Okay.
Will you still receive points for putting your alliance cap on top of the shipping hub if it isn't balanced?
So if it's like
So if
this
it's
and I
tilted
cap,
and
so
it's
if
still
I
on
do
there.
this.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Great question. And I think that's still valid. You won't get the balance points. Every other point on the shipping hub is valid.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, we have a lot of questions. I'm trying to do a little bit of a pattern here.
Hey, well, that's great. Keep them coming.
Just to clarify, we've talked about this, but can we load multiple freight at the same time?
You can only hold one at a time, but you can put multiple freight. You can put as many as that will physically fit onto the shipping hubs. You can put those on there. You can stack them on each other, whatever you want to do. But you can only hold and manipulate one at a time.
Hold and score one at a time.
And as in the past, since the freight's going to start out here back in the warehouse, particularly back in the corner, if you're driving in there to get a piece, and let's say I want to grab this one, if I'm plowing and push a few pieces like that, that's okay. And then also, another demonstration. If you've already scored some stuff in your storage area, and tell me when you're ready, Andrew. So let's say I'm going to bring this, let's say this robot's going to bring this in, and I hope this works. If I come in to push this and I push those other ones, I'm only possessing this one because they're already considered in here to be scored. So that's okay to push that. So you don't have to be careful about getting, push them. Just as long as you're not trying to, over manipulate. If you're trying to get there and push them all and stack them or something, that might be considered.
Can you descore on this goal?
No, you do not. You cannot. Andrew, I want to know, can you descore? You cannot descore out of the other team's storage area.
Right.
If you are unfortunate to do that, I think that just is, you don't get those points. There's
So-
not a penalty.
Got the microphone back. All right. So, like, let's say you had those in there. Are you allowed to pick them up out of there and put them into there?
Absolutely, there's no rule against it.
As long
There's
as you're
no
only
rule,
from your own
right.
alliance
As long as
color.
you don't infract any other rules. Then
Yeah.
let's say you pick up 2 and bring 2 over, then you'll be penalized for additional possession of additional blocks or additional freight, and then also scoring. You'll get penalized.
Right. So you can't descore the opposing alliance, but you can descore your own.
Absolutely. Well, great questions. Please
Yeah.
post
These
all
are
these
awesome-
clarifications.
these are awesome questions.
Clarification, request
Okay.
clarification
Well,
from the
Back to the steady spot. All right.
All right.
Okay. We had several questions. We're not going to put any up here, but basically everyone is curious about scoring from the warehouse. If they're able to reach over, if they're already in the warehouse, to put it onto the element, if they have to travel. So just, I would say, do an overview of what is legal and what's not, because everyone's already trying to break the
I'll
game.
be the arm for the robot here.
Okay, so
Let's
so
assume
so let's review. Robot must start completely outside the warehouse, like this one is. No, don't put the ball. It must go completely in the warehouse, and and yeah, if when he makes a flying one, we'll have to worry about that later. But then it can pick up the freight. Then it has to come completely out. Now you can score it.
Which edge is the defined edge of completely in and out?
the outside edge of the white tape
So
you see
think
here.
about a vertical plane. Do that. Now,
And just to preempt another question, this is not, this does not define area. The barriers don't define the area. The tape defines the edge of the area.
Okay. And to get back to your question, you cannot reach out of the warehouse, but if you move the robot over here to where Andrew was standing, if you were to be here, since you were clearly outside the warehouses and you wanted to reach there, that would be legal. But again, you have to be outside of the warehouse. You cannot be in the warehouse and putting freight.
Which the warehouse is this white taped area,
Yeah.
right?
But the
So you can
question
see-
was, can we score from inside the warehouse? Let's say you're standing out here and you're thinking about scoring. Let's say you have an arm and you're trying to score. This will be illegal.
Yep. But if you first come completely out, then you can back up, right?
You can, but you cannot score.
So I
You
thought
have to be outside of the warehouse to score in the shipping hubs.
So even if you've already pulled the piece all the way out?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I believe so. That's probably something we're going to need to get clarified.
Another thing to note is you might notice the warehouses are neutral, right?
Yep.
They're not alliance specific. So even though you see the red goal is facing to the right there, again, you can't spin it. It doesn't mean that that's only for red robots and that's only for blue robots.
Yeah.
That's correct. There is a little bit of nuance. In autonomous, when you're parking or navigating to one of these areas, the alliance, the warehouse closest to your alliance is where you want to park or navigate to.
Yes.
You don't want to go across and get penalized.
Right, because you can interact with somebody else.
Right.
Yeah. And as it's been in the past, interfering with the other team's autonomous program is a major penalty again.
I don't think we touched on this, but expanding on that, a few people were wondering about rolling the cargo. Is that something that's legal?
Yeah, again, you're going to need to do that, but you got to realize if you roll it until it stops, you are still controlling that piece of cargo. So if you push a ball, why don't you give me a ball, Sid? We'll try this. No. So if you were to come and go like that, whoops, go like that, you'd have to wait until that cargo stopped like it did over there before you got another one, because you are still technically possessing that piece of cargo. But yeah, if you want to roll them around, you can push freight around. You know, in any of the freight, the boxes, the ducks, or the cargo, it's there. You just can't push the alliance.
You just can't do that.
Yeah, can't.
You ready for this, AJ?
They're squishy. I don't know if we told you they're squishy.
That's right.
Duck, duck, goose.
So,
all right.
While we're still in the warehouse a little bit,
Yes.
If you accidentally push blocks out of your own warehouse, will you lose those points? What's the penalties?
If you're, I guess at that point, it'll be a little bit of a judgment call on us. But if we think you're kind of plowing to do that, we would probably not score those, or say it's okay. But if it looks like you're manually manipulating to get somebody to come grab them, we would give you, that freight would not be allowed to legally be scored. So like you couldn't push a piece out and have your Reliance partner come and pick it up. That would not be legal. We would not let that one be scored.
The question may have been about the cargo too, right? Your team could push a block out of the blue accidentally and you wouldn't get the points for it.
Yeah, if you accidentally were a blue team robot and you happen to be swinging in here to do something, and then you push that out when we did the final score.
That'll be descored actually.
Yeah, I think they were probably also asking about like feeding an alliance partner, right? So if you were a robot that was in there and all you did was drop blocks over the line, someone can't come up and pick those up.
That's correct. Yeah, because
No,
whatever robot possesses the piece of freight has to come completely out before that piece of freight can be legally scored by any robots.
Once they come completely out, they can stop. They can
Yep.
drop it,
Yeah.
and the other person can pick it up.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, so what he just said, I don't know if you heard it, he said the robot that picked it up and drives out, they can drive out, drop it, and then someone else can score it. So if you made a 10-inch wide robot that could go in and out, that'd be fine.
Yeah, so if Sid could come and keep coming all the way out and set, he puts the freight down, then I, as this other robot, could pick it up and go do something with it.
Yeah, in fact, I don't even have to drop it. I can just hand it over to him. If
And
the
make sure-
robot, assuming this robot,
Make
it
sure you
can
read
be
the
an
rules.
exchange.
Make sure you read the rules for the definitions of completely, because it's very well defined this year.
And there's also another, it's not completely defined, but it's something called the warehouse operation. There are 4 steps that clearly outlines this season what is expected.
Yep.
And that sets the theme for the entire, how do you do this? How do you move the blocks and cargo freight out of the warehouses?
You have a question, Mike? I can see it.
I've got all sorts of questions. So let's go to the actual warehouse frame. They're curious about it being bolted to the ground or how it floats around.
This is called the barrier, and for our purposes, we've not had them down, but they are going to be zip tied.
Zip tied here?
Zip tied together, and then zip tied to the.
Hans is going to get the plate so you guys can see
so
it.
there's some. All right, so live demonstration, unplanned.
Here, why don't you?
There's going to be this plate underneath the tiles.
Yeah, let's do it like right here. So, or it's just the one. So I don't know if.
Oops, hold on.
Hold on. Uh-oh. What happened?
Did it come unplugged, Mike?
That's on your end.
Uh-oh, SOS, beep, 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 beep.
It's all plugged in here. Stand by, everybody on the internet.
Here, so run that through there.
I think it came loose. It came loose over here. Hold on.
So anyway, while we're doing that, we'll show you. But there's a plate that goes. There we go. Okay.
Okay, don't tilt the camera all the way down. It unplugs itself. This is the lesson for the day. I'm coming back. Here we go.
The plate goes underneath the tiles. And this may not be the exact orientation, but the plate goes underneath. This is the plate with the zip tie. Goes underneath.
Here, stick
it out there.
And then
it goes in. I don't want to tighten that.
Yeah, but then
you
it'll
get the
be-
idea.
So these should stay in place, but you're going to have to be careful about getting your robot catching on them and potentially breaking them because you could incur field damage. And if you broke one of those, we'd have to scramble, get one off the practice field. Oh, here we go. Grab the plate, Sid. Sorry. There you go. Yeah, so piece of plastic with some holes in it that's going to go under the tiles. So these will be fairly rigidly attached. They'll flex a little bit, but they should be staying in place. So you shouldn't have to worry about things like this happening. Again. Duck,
Duck, goose.
With the warehouse, so at the end of the game, does it matter which warehouse you're actually parked in?
In the end game,
The warehouses are alliance neutral, so it doesn't matter.
well, there's no navigating at the end to be in the
No,
alliance.
there's no navigating
in the warehouse. Only this, and it's only in, and this is in autonomous only. It's either navigating into your own
Or
or your side warehouse. You cannot go to that side during autonomous. Yeah, and your line specific.
So I saw a few of these. It looks like people are curious if your alliance partner can't cap their shipping element. Can you cap it for them? Or is there just one per alliance?
Yeah. So again, possession limit of shipping elements is one at a time. But if you get both of yours on the field and you have one robot who could put one on, and then if we had another one who I could cap it on there, the same robot, but they have to do them one at a time. That would be
Alright.
illegal because you can't make your shipping element out of game elements. But yeah, that illustrates the idea. Hopefully that answers the question.
Great. And also some clarification in the warehouse. Is there enough room for 2 robots to be in one warehouse?
So the question was, would there be enough room? So let's
try.
let us get our demonstration robot to put in here, and you can see, yeah, there might be, because this is 2 tiles wide, 2 by, it's 43.5 inches to the edge square. So you could probably get 2 robots in there, but it's going to be tight. And again, part of your strategy is to figure out how to do that effectively.
You can make a skinny robot.
There's no maneuverability.
Yeah, that's 2 if you want to go in there and just kind of sit and hang out and talk to each other, I guess. But no, yeah. But again, all things you guys need to consider when you're designing your robots and figuring out your alliance strategy about what you want to do.
Great. So we've got a few questions about the actual game pieces that I think we should tackle.
Okay.
So one is probably more qualitative. How can you identify the weight of one of the pieces, one of the elements, when you're picking it up during the game?
So
I don't think we know the weights of these things, but you can measure it.
Well,
There are
so
4
what you got is 3 different types. So, so here, so you got the ones like this, where they have no weights in either side. Then you've got some that have 1 weight on each side, and then
you have 2.
Yeah, then you got 2 on each side.
So one thing I'll also point out is, so see if we can get real close if it'll focus. So you can see there's like a little O-ring that wraps around the little steel thing, and that's how it stays in there. It's not glued in or anything. It's just an O-ring. And Hans pointed out when he built this, it's really hard to get them all to go completely flush. So some of them stick a little proud. You can see it there.
Yeah.
So some of them might stick out, and there are the tolerance rules and stuff in there. But it's very easy to see. Like obviously, you can see the steel. I don't know what they're calling them, the steel plugs.
Yeah, and I can just with my hand I can kind of feel the difference between the 3. So you're gonna have to build some cool sensor on your robot to determine the difference, or you could visually look to see if it's got the metal weights in it or not. Would be if you want to differentiate between the 3.
And I think in the rules, I think they might say what the weight.
Yeah,
is.
they do. They have a list of what the nominal weight should be for that in the game manual, part 2, when they define it.
So an interesting follow.
It probably is in the field setup or field.
I'm looking at both of those.
Oh,
There's
it's
no specific weight.
Great question
of the-
for again.
of
Great
the-
question.
So
for,
you could measure them when you get your field,
Yeah.
but I don't see a weight in the document.
Okay.
We didn't bring a
I
scale
thought-
with us. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Ask it. Forum question. Post
Yeah,
it. Find
post it.
out. Be the
Great
first in your
question.
block to know.
So one follow-up with that is, can teams use magnets to pick up the weighted blocks? So I guess they're trying to think about how to differentiate. So
I don't think magnets are legal robot items to use. From
Read the rule, and if it's
read the rules. Yeah.
if it's there
Construction
allowed,
rules,
then
game manual 1 should tell you if it's
Yeah.
legal or not.
Yeah, I don't.
I don't recall.
I kind of recall that magnets aren't generally allowable, but if your robot construction rules would allow you to have a magnet as part of your robot being built, then I would think yes. I don't know what material these are made of, so I don't know if they're magnetic or not. So
I think they're steel.
Are they steel? Okay, again.
So yes,
I haven't
they are
had the
magnetic.
fun of inserting 500 of these into the blocks for the game elements this year, as Hans has. So,
and it looks like someone actually measured for us, Kyle. So if you check the chat, you'll actually see the different weights.
Why don't you pull it up?
I can do one at a time. Light, medium,
oh,
heavy.
Kyle already has
of course,
the answers.
Of course, Kyle did.
we joke
had-
about
we
that,
had
but
backup. We had
Kyle's
backup.
our tech expert.
Thank you, Kyle.
Kyle. Thank you so much.
The preload is 50.5 grams. That's what Kyle Holt says.
Yes.
I want a BattleBot.
Yeah,
Derby.
so that would be
Okay.
this one here, and
I don't know.
BattleBot Derby.
This isn't BattleBots. I know all too well.
yeah, trust me.
One team, I lost it in the comments here. There's so many, but they're curious about the diameter of the ball. Is it the same as the cubes?
I believe it's pretty close. It's in the game.
from-
I know that's in the game manual for
Right.
sure.
It's the same ball we've been using.
2.5, I believe. 2.5 to 2 and.
So we need a third hand because we're all holding microphones, but also the duck. Here, let's get closer. It's a good camera. It
Oh,
focuses real well. The duck is almost exactly the same size as the cube. If we do that, maybe you can get it. You can see. Beep, beep, boop, beep, beep. So they're all pretty close in size, obviously.
Yeah.
Not identical, but close.
But I do know that the physical outer dimensions should be in game manual part 2 when they define.
Oh, this one's lost a squeaker.
And just for clarification, these are the same wiffle balls that were used from previous seasons.
Rover Ruckus,
Rover
and then this
Ruckus
is the
and-
same. The block is the same with the exception of we now have these cool added weights.
Yep.
That Hans says if you talk nice to him, he'll insert them for you, maybe.
Unlikely. He's shaking his head no, I promise.
Okay, yeah, maybe not.
So we've got a few rookie questions that I think are good to go through
Okay.
that might not be game specific.
Certainly.
Team was asking about weight restrictions. Are there any?
This year, again, we are not having any weight restrictions on your robot itself, as we have in years past. I guess the only thing I would say is that remember you need to be able to safely, with no more than 2 people, put your robot on and off the field. So, you know, if you need to bring in a crane to lift your robot onto the field, that obviously is not going to be accommodated. But as far as that weight's kind of your up to you to do that, depending on what kind of designs and how it will play into where you want to travel on the field and do other things.
Okay, another follow-up would be where can teams actually purchase the field and game elements?
Oh, field and game element. I was going to say kit of parts. We have a video about the kit.
We
that we're
will
gonna play
be
at
coming
the
back
end.
to that, yeah, but
But
in
Andy
general.
Mark is where you get
AndyMark.com. That's what Hans
Yeah,
says.
AndyMark.com, and I should imagine if you do FTC in the search, that'll be probably one of the first
They'll
things. that shows up.
probably have it right in the homepage there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
Andy Mark on the far right hand, you'll see a first menu, and then you pick the FTC program, and you'll see all of the
Yeah.
equipment that you can order.
Yeah, all sorts of fun combinations. You can buy all these game elements. You can buy fields, all sorts of robot parts to your heart's content.
All right, and we've got a few random tie-up questions here, about 5 that we can run through. Human players.
None.
There is not a human player this year, and part of that reason is because the only time a drive team is going to interact over here with the carousel is during the end game. So basically, like I said previously, in the last 30 seconds during end game, if you're going to place more ducks onto here or team shipping elements, you'll need to get one of the 3-person drive team, the 2 drivers or the coach, to be putting the whatever ducks or team shipping elements onto the carousel for you.
while he's talking about the carousel, I'm going to come to this one because my cable's shorter, and the field. Just wanted to show you guys how the carousel actually clamps on. Okay, I can't tilt up, so hold on.
Oh, you lost it.
Don't collapse the tripod either.
Okay.
We're professionals.
Are we back? Okay. So you can't collapse the tripod leg either. But I know it's sideways. I'm sorry, everybody. Watch it on your cell phone. You can turn it. But you can see it's got some thumb screws that like clamp into the field perimeter. This is one of the things that we got wrong in that video is like you have to make sure everything's layered right. Otherwise, it doesn't quite spin that well.
Yeah.
But it's very free spinning. So.
Yes.
So a few other questions with the carousel that ties in with that. Can someone put a duck on the carousel while it's moving and there's no other duck on it?
No, you already
No.
asked that.
Did I?
The answer
Okay,
is
sorry.
no. Once it's moving, the drive team cannot interact with the carousel until the robot stops moving it, and that is a penalty.
And can you give a little more clarification about what happens when things fall off the carousel outside the field?
If the drive team can reasonably get it from being in the Alliance station, they'll pick it up. If not, field personnel will try to put it back into the loading dock. Again, all about safety. Even the field personnel are going to have to stay away from the carousel when it's moving. We don't want somebody getting their fingers caught or worse and do that.
So we've only got 3 questions left, so we'll just do them real quick.
All right, so we got.
So do both Alliance robots have to be in the same warehouse? So could one be in one warehouse and one in the other at that game?
Yeah, so the answer is they can do it. No, other than the restriction on navigating during autonomous, these are Alliance neutral. So if you, during driver controlled and end game, if you wanted we'll say blue since I'm on the blue side, we could have one blue robot be here and one blue robot be over there and move things around. Is there anything else that I need to consider?
You're right. To collect during the driver control period, the robots are free to choose either warehouse
And
because
again,
they're Alliance neutral.
you don't get points in autonomous.
There are no points. Yes.
Only in autonomous period.
Yep.
Is there a restriction? After that, it's completely fair game, and there's no points for getting into the warehouse during end game. You get the points for being in your, I don't even remember what this thing's called. Other warehouse.
Storage area.
Storage area. There you go. Okay.
Another clarifier: can you cap your team element before end game?
No.
I don't think we talked about that.
You gotta do the sound.
Yeah, so you can hold the team element before then, but you cannot actually place it onto your thing until end game starts.
And our final question from Kyle
is
completely inside defined by the white tape, so your wheels can be on the bars when scoring the element.
Yeah, so he says it's completely, to be inside the warehouse, it's the tape, and because we've been moving these around, theoretically, this barrier is going to be right up to the tape, and so if you were to come out, and let's say you had an arm to reach, you could legally score from there because the barrier is not part of the warehouse, right, Sid?
Yep, that's correct. You have to be completely outside. I mean, the simple answer would be the outer edge of the white tape.
Yep. All right.
So I think we're going to pivot to Hans's breakdown of the different FTC kits, and we'll leave you guys with the game animation.
So just quick, appreciate all the questions. Those are great. Keep them coming. Look at the forums, read the rules, read the rules, read the rules, read the forums, read the forums, read the forums, right, Sid?
Absolutely. Read the forums and ask as many questions as you can so to keep the GDC engaged in this. Thank you.
Yes.
And stay posted to the Florida FTC website. Leagues are working on their event schedules now. And as soon as they get them finalized, we will get emails out to you so you can start planning when you can attend events. But I think we're kind of hoping for some late October scrimmages, at minimum virtual remote scrimmages. Okay? Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate everybody tuning in today. Have some fun. Go start designing your robots.
Hey, this next topic is geared towards primarily the rookie team in our audience today in this kickoff of the season. I'm going to walk you through the ordering process and talk about some of the kit options. So I've logged into a first account and I've created a team. Now I'm going to order the competition kit, and here's kind of an early screen. So I'm going to go through this process. As you can see, there's kind of 4 steps right over here on the right that we're going to go through. I've already done the season registration. Now I'm picking the control set, and there's really no options here. And I have to have that driver hub component. This is what AJ talked about that is Professor AJ talked about as a new component this year. So let me add that to the cart and then kind of move on to the next screen. And again, on this next screen, you will see there's really no option here. This is the control mechanism that goes on your robot, right? So the driver hub that we showed in the previous screen, Wi-Fi communicates to this component. The only thing that you may end up doing is ordering potentially another control hub, depending on how many electronics and components you have on your robot. So again, no option. I'm going to order this component, go to the next screen. And this is really where there are options. And that's really the mechanical components, right? So you can see It's probably hard to see. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit on this to make it a little cleaner. But here's the mechanical components, aluminum bars and wheels. And then here, and this one is from Tetrix, and this one is from Rev. Really, the main difference is, one, the Tetrix component's more expensive. It's $545 versus $477. However, the Tetrix piece is one of the old original kits going back to 2008. So a lot more teams will probably have this kit. So you're more than likely to find spare parts from other teams at events for this kit. Now, this is a newer kit, but it is a sound kit. And I've seen teams be successful with both. So it's really up to you to decide. There's more parts here, but I would say these are kind of a heavier duty set of capabilities. And as I said before, you'll find more teams more than likely with Tetrix parts. Now, the other thing is that, a lot of our more mature teams kind of build their own componentry too, because we have a lot more flexibility. And so there are other places that you can buy parts. So for example, not a lot of people like the motors, for example, from that Tetrix kit, but here's AndyMark. And if you go over here, they have a section for FIRST programs, and here in the center is the FTC program. And as you can see, this is where you can order your field elements, but there's also other kit parts here. So for example, I can go here to order motors and servos. Another place that you can go to that has this stuff is, again, you can go directly to Rev. So earlier I mentioned they've got motors and servos here also, but they also, where you can order extra electronics. I mentioned you may need, another hub here that you can order from this website. And then there are a couple of other places that provide parts. And one of those is, wrong website, is a company called Servo City. So that some people like these motors and components. And so this is another website. So you can compare prices. There's a lot more flexibility in the FTC kits today than there was even 5 or 6 years ago. So that's really all I wanted to cover today. I hope that gives you a brief overview of the different kit options and where you can go for more information. Thank you.
All right, so we forgot one last thing. So in December, we're going to do a virtual celebration type thing. Video challenges are going to come out. So make sure you check your emails, because we're going to send out whatever the challenge may be. We haven't decided yet. Also, make sure you get Hans's emails so that you can know what's going on. Make sure all your league leaderships. I think that's everything. Yeah. So we're going to play the game animation again. Following that, there's actually another field tour that was pre-recorded by headquarters. So you might want to stay tuned to see that as well, because there's some pretty good insights into the field. With that, thank you, everybody. Have a great season, and we'll see you in December.
Welcome to the First Tech Challenge 2021-2022 season game, Freight Frenzy, presented by Raytheon Technologies. A team consists of up to 2 driver-operators, a coach, and a robot. The robot must be built from materials specified in the game manual and fit within an 18-inch sizing tool, but may expand after the match begins. Each match is played with 4 randomly selected teams, 2 per alliance. Your opponent for one match may be your partner for another. The game is played on a 12-foot square playing field with a foam tile floor and 1-foot-high walls. In the back of the field are taped-off warehouses, which are alliance neutral. Obstructing the warehouses are barriers that robots must drive over or around. At the front of the field are Alliance-specific storage units. Alliance-specific carousels are mounted on the front corners of the field walls. Alliance-specific barcode tape is located between the warehouses and the storage units. 4 unique navigation images are located around the field perimeter. 2 Alliance-specific shipping hubs and a 3rd shared shipping hub are positioned as shown. Outside of the field walls are the red and blue Alliance stations. There are 2 types of freight: 20 pieces of cargo, 2.7 inches in diameter, and 2-inch square boxes in various weights: 30 lightweight, 20 medium, and 10 heavy boxes. 4 of the lightweight boxes are marked with an X. In addition, rubber ducks will play a key role in the game, and teams will be constructing their own custom-designed shipping elements. Before each match, the freight is stored in the warehouses, and a preload box is placed onto the field for each robot. A duck is placed onto each carousel and in the middle position of each barcode. The remaining ducks are stored in the Alliance loading docks. Teams then place their robots on the field, touching the wall adjacent to their Alliance station, but not in a warehouse. The teams then place 1 preload box for each robot. A team may then decide to use their own shipping element in place of a duck on the barcode, or store their shipping element in the loading dock. The duck or shipping element on the barcode is then randomized to one of 3 locations. The players and field are now ready. Each match begins with a 30-second autonomous period. During this period, there are a number of ways for teams to score, using only pre-programmed instructions and sensor inputs. Delivering the duck from the carousel earns 10 points. Each piece of freight delivered to the Alliance's storage unit will earn 2 points. Each preloaded box placed on an Alliance's shipping hub earns 6 points. But there are ways to earn bonus points. If the box is placed on the correct level as indicated by the duck's location on the barcode, the Alliance earns a 10-point bonus. If a robot places its preload box on the level shown by its Alliance's shipping element position on the barcode, it will earn a 20-point bonus. A robot parked on its Alliance's storage unit earns 3 points. However, if the robot is parked completely in the storage unit, it will earn 6 points. A robot parked in the warehouse closest to its Alliance station earns 5 points. If the robot is completely inside the warehouse, it will earn 10 points. Following the autonomous period is the 2-minute driver-controlled period. During this time, Alliances score points by delivering freight to storage units and shipping hubs. For example, each piece of freight delivered to an Alliance's storage unit will earn 1 point. Freight scored on an Alliance's shipping hub will earn 2 points on a level 1, 4 points on a level 2, and 6 points on level 3. Each freight scored on the Alliance's side of the shared shipping hub will score 4 points for their Alliance. The last 30 seconds of the driver control period is the end game. Robots may continue scoring freight, and there are also ways to earn bonus points. Delivering a duck or shipping element to the floor earns the Alliance 6 points. A balanced shipping hub at the end of the match earns 10 points. If an Alliance's section of the shared shipping hub is in contact with the tile floor, that Alliance earns 20 points. Robots parked in a warehouse earn 3 points. However, if the robot is parked completely in the warehouse, it earns 6 points. Each team's shipping element, fully supported by a shipping hub center pole or another team's capped shipping element, will earn 15 points. There are many ways to score in Freight Frenzy, but there are also rules that, if not followed, will deduct points from your Alliance. For example, robots cannot interfere or interact with the opposing Alliance shipping hub. Scoring elements may not be launched. robots may not interfere with their opposing alliance's capping attempts. Only one duck or team shipping element is allowed on the carousel at a time. A robot may not cause an opposing alliance robot to become pinned, trapped, or blocked. This is just a brief summary of the Freight Frenzy game. For complete rules, please read the game manual and check the Q&A forum. And always remember the most important rule of First Tech Challenge: gracious professionalism. Good luck, teams, and have a great season.
What a game we have this season. Here to give us a closer look at the field is Aaron Fadden, Game Design Committee team member and First Tech Challenge project manager.
Hi everyone, I'm Aaron Fadden, member of the First Tech Challenge Game Design Committee. Now that you've seen the Freight Frenzy presented by Raytheon Technologies game, let's talk about some of the unique challenges that you'll see in this year's game. First, let's talk about the autonomous task, specifically reading the barcodes. When a team arrives at the field for pre-match setup, there will be a duck located on the middle barcode facing to the right. A team places their robot touching their alliance wall and must preload the preload box. A robot may either be touching the preload box or in full possession of it. Now, a team has the option of introducing their team shipping element onto the field in place of the duck. Once placed, the actual location of the duck or team shipping element will be randomized. This task is really about reading the barcode to determine where the duck or team shipping element is located. The location of either indicates which level of the Alliance shipping hub to score the preload box. Teams receive more points for this task using the team shipping element in place of the duck. Located in the back of the field are the warehouses. Each warehouse holds approximately half of the freight. Freight consists of cargo and 3 different weighted boxes. The warehouses are Alliance neutral, as are the scoring elements. In order for a robot to legally collect and possess freight, they must first start completely out of the warehouse, drive completely in the warehouse, collect one piece of freight, and then drive completely out of the warehouse with the collected freight. To access the warehouse, robots will need to traverse over the barriers. Now, there have been allowances made for robots to avoid driving over the barriers, as there is an approximate 13.75-inch gap. Teams will need to factor this into their robot design strategy. Do you build a robot that will be able to fit through the gap, or would a better strategy be to build a larger robot that can successfully cross the barriers? As mentioned in the game animation, there are 3 different weighted boxes that make up the freight. Teams can strategize how they program their robot or use sensors to determine the weight of the box as they retrieve them from the warehouse, because the weights will make a difference when placed onto the Alliance or shared shipping hubs. All of the shipping hubs have a wobble base. For the Alliance shipping hubs, you want to try and keep those balanced throughout the match, meaning the rim of the shipping hub is not in contact with the floor. The shared shipping hub is split for use of both of the alliances, and the intent is to have the shared shipping hub tipped in favor of your alliance with the rim of the hub touching the floor. In front of the field towards the audience are 2 carousels, one for the Red Alliance and one for the Blue Alliance. Teams will need to be thoughtful when designing a mechanism to interact with the carousel. The robot may only interact with the rim of the carousel to make the platform of the carousel spin. Spinning the carousel and knocking the duck or team shipping element to the floor is the only way to legally deliver the elements to earn points. During the endgame, robots may now cap their Alliance shipping hub. Teams will need to be thoughtful about their team shipping element design strategy, as well as how they place the team shipping element onto the hub. The goal is to cap the Alliance shipping hub while still keeping the hub balanced. I hope you enjoyed this overview of Freight Frenzy presented by Raytheon Technologies. Please make sure to read both the Game Manual Part 1 and Game Manual Part 2. There are 2 versions of each of these manuals on our website for both remote and traditional gameplay. Also, every team is allocated 1 account to ask questions and receive official answers on the First Tech Challenge forum throughout the season. Thanks for taking a closer look. We're excited to see how you work together and use your robots to build a path forward.
Thanks so much,